and welcome back to Mariana Math Books. My name is Mariana and today I am finally going to film that 9-card spread, a VR to Meg at Honey Rose Ritual, who did it as a VR to Sylvan at Sylvan's 7 Deadly Sins. I am going to be using my newly trimmed John Bauer tarot, which I am currently in love with, and I thought it would be fun for the intro to shuffle the cards while I do the intro so that the cards fill up with the energy of the reading I'm going to do. And so let's go. Okay, so I tried my best with the setup. I tried my best and I can't manage to get it right. So you are just going to see all of the piles that I use for instead of a tripod. That 9-card spread is a VR that Mega Rose Honey Ritual decided to do for Sylvain, because he did his 9-card spread. That is the 9-card spread that Kelly uses at the Truth in Story for general readings, and the idea of Meg was that it would be cool to see how other people read, so that she can get an idea of how other people read, interpret cards, and I mean, she and all of us, we can all get an idea of how people read cards and how people interpret and stuff. I don't like interpreting single cards because, especially in a general, if it's like a fixed position spread, then it's fine. But if it's a general spread like this one, then I feel like any card can mean anything if it's by itself. And so what I'm going to do, because even for I like narrowing general spreads down. So for instance, I have an oracle deck I created to specifically with the purpose of narrowing down general spreads. So when friends come and they don't know what they want, we use that oracle. But in this case, what I'm going to do to narrow down, because I feel like it's too broad if I just like pull the cards and start interpreting whatever comes to mind. And so how do I narrow down a general spread? And the way I'm going to do it is using the past and present to narrow down what the reading is about. So for instance, if I pull the card, I'm going to begin by pulling the 3 first cards, which are past, present, future, and I'm going to read those, and I'm going to use those to narrow what the cards are telling me that the reading is about. So let's say that in the past position I would have a 5 of Wands. And then in the present position, I would have an 8 of Cups. So maybe I would tell my friend, okay, so this reading is about a situation where there has been conflict. There has been conflict in the past, but in the present you are walking away from that conflict. And so maybe they would be like, oh, yes, that happened at work because I'm having problems with some co-workers, but I'm decided to be the bigger person and I am walking away. And then we would be like, okay, so this reading is about that situation. And then all of the cards that I pull would correspond to that situation. And that way, the 9-card spread can be used infinitely with the same person, because every time you get the past present cards, you would get a different situation and you can do the reading according to that specific situation. And so what I do after is I put together all the piles and then I slightly hand over hand, which is what I'm going to do at the moment. But I just wanted the cards to get the energy of this video that I'm filming as I'm doing the intro, so you could so I'm just going to pull everything together off camera because it's too hard to do it on camera, and I'm going to slightly hand over hand, and then I'm going to come back and start pulling cards. Okay, so for the past we have the Eight of Pentacles. Then for the present we have the Ten of Swords. And for the future we have the Page of Wands. I love this Page of Wands. This has come up in previous readings, and it has a very special meaning for me. Not like the Page of Wands in general, just this specific Page of Wands because of the readings I've done with this deck and the times that this has come up. And I love that the Page of Pentacles, of Wands, in the John Bauer Tarot is kind of like looking towards the future, and like the sun is coming out, and he has his trumpet, and so I always interpret this is a very hopeful card for me. And just so you know, I do have the meanings, I do have the cards, the names of the cards written down. So Ten of Swords, I just wrote them very small with a pen. So this I know is the Eight of Pentacles, so it's not that I know by memory yet. Some of them I do. I know this is the Ten of Swords, I know this is the Page of Wands, but I don't know every card by heart yet. So let's get back to the reading. So this reading, okay, so I feel like I'm being super basic because this is about work, and I feel like I'm being super basic because we have the Eight of Pentacles here, but if we take into consideration all of the cards, then it is most definitely about work. So I work independently, and I have what Gretchen McCulloch calls a weird internet career, where I write, I make videos, I give online courses, I on one-on-one sessions, and it's all about time management, but time management from an anti-productivity perspective. So it's very with a very humanistic approach. I don't know if that's a word in English, but that's a word in Spanish. And lately I have been kind of like just struggling to find inspiration because I'm a content creator. I write, I make videos and stuff. Then I always have to be creative with the content I create, and with the things I do, with my Patreon and all of that type of things. And so usually I'm very inspired, and I'm always looking for similar pages and websites, and reading and finding ideas and stuff. But I have been having a hard year this year, and on a personal level it has been very hard. And so I feel like this year I have just been grinding away, working away, just like chipping at the block without a lot of inspiration or creativity, or really the inspiration to be creative about my work. It's just been like, okay, do the thing and get it over with. And that has been tiring because I'm a very creative person, and I like to create, and I like to have ideas. In one of my official bios at work, I always say I'm a woman of many ideas and a passion to share them. And so I'm always creating ideas, I'm always thinking, I'm always coming up with new stuff. And being a creative driven person, it's super tiring when I am not inspired. I get tired of being meh. And that's how it's felt this year. But I feel like currently I'm coming to a close in a cycle that I had been stuck in regards to like my thoughts, stress, and stuff. This Ten of Swords, I think, speaks to that. And in personal readings I've been getting cards of like closure, the world, like things ending, cycles ending, and that makes me hopeful for this this um this sort of like just grinding away. Am I using that expression correctly? I'm not sure I am, but I just mean, you know what I mean. So I feel like the stress that has kept me just like looking down, doing the work, and getting it over with is coming to an end, and I'm like fulfilling all of this cycle that I have been in. And this card, I love that this card came up because, as I said, I have a special relationship with this card in this particular deck. And it's always about me sharing my passions, me sharing my what drives me, what moves me. And this makes me think that in the future it looks like inspiration is coming back, and I'm going to be again sharing my inspiration and sharing all my projects and my ideas. And so I feel like that's what this reading is about. So that's how I would narrow down the situation. And then for the element cards and the other cards, I would take them as like advice for this situation of like, okay, so in order to get this outcome, then what do I need to do? And that's how I would read the rest of the cards. So let's go ahead with the rest of the cards. Okay, so next we have the elements, and we are going to start with earth. And for earth, I have the Five of Cups, and then for air, I have the Six of Cups. Okay. And then for fire, I have the Two of Cups. Okay, a lot of cups. The Two of Cups. And for water, I have the Moon. And then I'm going to pull the last two cards, which would be the thing that will help me. And that would be the Queen of Wands. And the thing that will hinder me. And that will be the Eight of Wands reversed. I don't usually read, or rather, I don't always read reversals, okay? I don't always read reversals. Usually I keep my cards very neat when I shuffle them, and so I never get reversals, but you saw the mess I made, so some reversals slipped in. And when I do get the occasional reversal, it depends. It depends by feeling. In this case I left it reversed because I feel like it complements the what we are talking about. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense that it would be reversed in this position, so I am leaving it that way. But I don't always leave the reversals. I don't usually get reversals, but when I do, it depends. I go by feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes I get a reversal and it's like, yeah, and sometimes I turn it around. So as you see, I got a ton of cups, and that makes sense because I am going through a phase, or not through a phase, just in general in life. I have a hard time connecting to my emotions. I'm a very intellectual person. I'm a very swords person, which is, the Ten of Swords is like the present. I'm like finalizing. Okay, yeah, I love this. I'm finalizing this cycle of like thoughts and just being in my mind. And I recently went to a new round of therapy. I go in rounds, and I like go and stop and go and stop. I just went to a new round of therapy, and we like the core of the therapy was basically like, as my therapist put it, was me learning to connect my brain to my heart. And she always told me that I needed to connect my brain to my heart and like uh, feel my emotions. I was going to go on a tangent here about a reading I did for a friend recently, but I'm not going to because it's going to be a super long video, longer than it already is. But so this makes sense to me because in every single element, in every single area of life, save for the emotional realm, I have cups. So it's like water, like connect to your emotions, connect to water. And in the earth, I have the Five of Cups, which, as I said, usually I don't read reversals, but in this case, like, I feel like this is very much a reversed meaning in the sense of it's kind of like a warning. So in the Pentacles area, like it's a behavioral thing of not being stuck in the grief that I've been stuck in. I mean, we are coming out of the cycle of negative negative thoughts, and it's not that I think negative thoughts are bad. I'm like the most anti-toxic positivity person, but what I mean to say is that don't get stuck in that. And the Six of Cups is in the air position, so it's like directly opposite, of like, okay, so we are coming to a close of these thoughts that have kept you just looking down and being meh. And so in order to do that, you have to again, and okay, I'm going to use a phrase from Kelly at the Truth in Story, who says that the Six of Cups asks the question, can you find wonder in the world again after having known loss? And I think that this is perfect for the reading with that sense, because it's like, okay, we are moving out of this grief we have been stuck in, both in feelings and in thoughts, and you have to be like, okay, you need to find wonder again. You need to find wonder again in order to come to this place of inspiration. Then for the fire position, we have the Two of Cups. And for me, in this case, because we're talking about work, right? This is the work situation. And the grief thing directly impacts my work because I do very personal things. I write kind of like personal essays and do personal videos, and that's how I teach time management, through my personal experiences. So when I'm going through a period of grief, that reflects in my work, and that's why I'm just like looking down, doing the thing, and not being super inspired. And so because my work is very much connection to other people but online, usually when I'm stuck in this like grief, what I will do, like in terms of behavior, what I will do is that I will retreat and I will just be working and stuff, but I'll stop doing courses, stop doing one-on-one sessions, stop doing the things that require connection, and I'm just doing it all by myself. And I feel like in terms of the air, it's saying like be open again to the idea of connecting to other people, and bring back again that in your work to find that inspiration. And in every personal reading I get, I get so many cups, I get so many Ace of Cups, and I get so many like Six of Cups, the Lovers, Two of Cups, like everything that's relating to connection, I always get in my readings. And I'm always like, okay, I get it. I know I have been in hermit mode and I have to start sharing again. And I feel like this is what the cards are telling me at the moment. And then for the cups, I got the moon. And the moon can mean many things, it can mean cycles, it can mean, but for me the moon, it's also like coming back to yourself and like diving into like the waters. And so that's like a very much a confirmation of connecting my brain to my heart, like going within yourself and find, because this is in the water position, so like finding the emotional core that you have there, and to connect to be open again to the idea of connecting with people, to find that inspiration and start sharing again in work, which is what inspires me and motivates me and makes me more passionate. So I feel like that is what the whole reading is talking about. And as you can see, if I hadn't narrowed it down, I would have had a hard time knowing what each card meant, because as I said, I feel like every card can mean anything. Any card can mean anything unless you give it some context. And again, that's something I learned from Tom Benjamin and I resonate with a lot. I'm not going to go on a tangent about why context as a concept is so important to me. I was recently commenting on a video by Taya at Garden Goddess Tarot about an oracle deck that I have in my wish list, solely because there's a context card in it. But I'm not going to go on a tangent about that. But yeah, so what I did was give the reading context by using the past, present, future, and narrowing down the situation, so that I could, so that I knew what the reading was talking about, and so I could use the rest of the cards in relation to that situation that the reading is talking about. And in that sense, I could just right now I could pull again 9 cards, and depending on what the past, present, future is, I would narrow down a situation there and be like, oh, okay, so the last reading was about work, this reading is about my health. And so I would approach the cards in relation to what the new situation we are talking about is. So that would be that 9 card spread VR to Meg, and in correspondence the VR of Meg was to Sylvain, so to the both of them. And this is how I would approach this spread for me and for someone else. As I said, if someone else came to me and was like, I have no idea, I don't do professional readings, I just read for friends and family. But if someone came and was like, I don't know, just pull some cards and whatever, then I would do this. Like I would pull 3 cards, let's get a situation, and then I would ask the person, right? I would be like, okay, so the past is telling me there has been conflict, or the past is speaking about work, and then the present is telling me this, and then the person could be like, okay, I think the situation is referring to is this one, and then we could proceed with the reading now that the situation has been narrowed down. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I feel like I repeated myself through the whole video. I just like narrow down. So you're sick of me? Yes, Mariana, you like to narrow down. And so I'm just going to stop there. I am considering, but I don't know when, so don't hold me to it. I would like to try the 9 card spread using only oracle, so like maybe my supra or my minimalist oracle. I think that would be cool, but don't hold me to it, and I don't know when, but I want to. But I have a lot of tags that I'm behind on that I want to film, so don't hold me to it. So yeah, I'm just going to stop talking, and I will see you soon-ish, whenever, on the next video. And in the meantime, I wish you happy card reading. Okay, wait, after I finished the video, I realized I didn't even talk about the 2 cards in the top and in the bottom. The what's helping me, what's hindering me. And I made a whole note about why I was keeping the reversal, and then I forgot, and now I think the street is noisier. I was literally taking my setup down. But so I'm just going to do a quick comment. So For again, this is talking about the same thing. So for me, the what helps me, the Queen of Wands, I had the Page of Wands here. And so for me, it's kind of like the progression of like, okay, yeah, so inspiration is coming back, but like master your fire, you know. Be like give in to the fire, give in to the inspiration, and that will help you in this moment that you are losing the fire, you know. So that's what the queen, I the way I would read the Queen of Wands in this case. And then the what hinders me is the Eight of Wands reversed. So basically I would just read it as like don't lose momentum. So yeah, those were the two cards that I forgot, and I had my whole goodbye film before. I had already been like goodbye, happy wedding. So goodbye, happy wedding.